A contested verdict, the fall of Maduro. The year 2024 brought a seismic shift to Venezuela. After years of economic turmoil and political unrest, Nicolas Maduro's grip on power finally loosened. The presidential election pitted Maduro against opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez. When the dust settled, the National Electoral Council declared Maduro the victor. However, this pronouncement was met with disbelief and fury by many. The opposition cried foul, alleging widespread electoral fraud. Independent observers, including the OAS and the Carter Center, echoed these concerns. Their analyses pointed to statistical anomalies in the vote count, casting serious doubt on the legitimacy of Maduro's supposed victory. The streets of Caracas, Maracaibo, and other cities erupted in protest. Chants of Fraude Electoral and González Presidente filled the air as Venezuelans demanded their voices be heard. The world watched with bated breath, uncertain of what the future held for this once prosperous nation. The contested election did not occur in a vacuum. It was the culmination of years of political maneuvering by Maduro and his allies to consolidate power and silence dissent. The opposition accused Maduro of transforming Venezuela into an authoritarian state, dismantling democratic institutions, and persecuting his opponents. The erosion of judicial independence, the muzzling of the press, and the imprisonment of political rivals became hallmarks of his rule. International human rights groups documented a systematic campaign of repression against those who dared to challenge Maduro's authority. Arbitrary arrests, torture, and extrajudicial killings became increasingly common. The government's crackdown on dissent drew condemnation from the United Nations and other international bodies. The 2024 election, marred by irregularities and allegations of fraud, was seen by many as the final nail in the coffin of Venezuelan democracy. Critics argued that it was a sham designed to provide a veneer of legitimacy to an illegitimate regime. The opposition, buoyed by widespread public support and international condemnation of the election, refused to back down. While the political drama unfolded, Venezuela's economy continued its downward spiral. Once a thriving oil-rich nation, it had been brought to its knees by years of mismanagement, corruption, and crippling international sanctions. Hyperinflation had become a way of life, wiping out savings and pushing millions into poverty. Basic goods like food and medicine were in short supply, forcing many to rely on handouts or scavenge for scraps. The oil industry, the lifeblood of the Venezuelan economy, was a shadow of its former self. Years of underinvestment, coupled with a mass exodus of skilled workers, had decimated production. The once mighty PDVSA, Venezuela's state-owned oil company, was plagued by corruption and inefficiency, its infrastructure crumbling under the weight of neglect. The collapse of oil revenues had a devastating ripple effect throughout the economy. The new government, facing this daunting economic landscape, knew that it had its work cut out for it. Attracting foreign investment was crucial to reviving the moribund oil industry and jump-starting the economy. The government faced the unenviable task of restoring confidence in a system that had been riddled with corruption and cronyism for years. The guardians of the nation, the military's role. The Venezuelan military, a powerful force in the country's political landscape, watched the unfolding events with a wary eye. Its loyalty had been a cornerstone of Maduro's grip on power. He had skillfully cultivated the support of the top brass, showering them with privileges and placing them in key positions of authority. The armed forces had become deeply entrenched in the state apparatus, controlling not only the military, but also key sectors of the economy. The opposition, acutely aware of the military's influence, had made overtures to the armed forces, seeking to secure their support. They promised to respect the institution's autonomy, improve living conditions for soldiers, and investigate allegations of corruption within the ranks. However, many within the military remained skeptical of the opposition's promises. They feared losing the power and privileges they had accumulated under Maduro. The decision they made would have profound implications for the future of the country. Scars of division, social and cultural healing. The political and economic turmoil of recent years had taken a heavy toll on Venezuelan society. Years of hardship, scarcity and repression had eroded trust, fueled resentment, and deepened existing social divisions. The country was deeply polarized, with pro-government and anti-government factions viewing each other with suspicion and hostility. The breakdown in social cohesion was evident in the frequent outbreaks of violence and the deep sense of unease that permeated everyday life. The new government faced the daunting task of healing these divisions and rebuilding a sense of national unity. Reconciliation and forgiveness were essential, but achieving them would be no easy feat. The wounds of the past ran deep, and many Venezuelans harbored a deep sense of grievance and injustice. Addressing these grievances, acknowledging past wrongs and holding perpetrators accountable were crucial steps in the long and arduous process of national healing. Geopolitical shifts. The political earthquake in Venezuela sent shockwaves through the region and beyond. The country had long been a key ally of Cuba, Nicaragua, and other leftist governments in Latin America. Maduro's fall from grace forced these allies to reassess their own positions and adapt to a changing geopolitical landscape. The potential domino effect of Maduro's ouster sent ripples of anxiety through some capitals, while others saw it as an opportunity for change. The United States, which had long sought to undermine Maduro's government, saw his departure as a major foreign policy victory. The Trump administration had imposed crippling sanctions on Venezuela, targeting its oil industry and key figures in the government. With Maduro out of the picture, the U.S. saw an opportunity to reassert its influence in the region and roll back the gains made by China and Russia in recent years. Venezuela's crossroads, challenges and opportunities. Venezuela stood at a crossroads. The ouster of Nicolas Maduro, while a momentous event, was only the first step on a long and uncertain road to recovery. The country faced a multitude of challenges, including a devastated economy, deep social divisions, and a legacy of corruption and impunity. Navigating these challenges would require strong leadership, a commitment to dialogue and reconciliation, and sustained support from the international community. The new government faced the daunting task of rebuilding a country in ruins. Reviving the economy, addressing the humanitarian crisis, and restoring public trust in institutions would be top priorities. Attracting foreign investment, particularly in the vital oil sector, would be crucial for jump-starting economic growth. However, this would require tackling corruption, strengthening the rule of law, and creating a more transparent and predictable business environment. The future of Venezuela remained uncertain, but there was hope.